Hello and welcome to the Black Dog Podcast 2, Episode 1, Into the Dragon.
Into my dragon.
Into your dragon, which is both...
Into my dragon.
Your dragon.
My dragon.
Is it a sex act or is it a kung fu movie? We just don't know. At this point, we've locked in for so long, it could be anything.
Yes, yeah. Well, we're in self-isolation because, I can't enter anyone else's dragon because that will be breaking the lockdown. So, I'm entering my own dragon. Yeah. We can't. This is it. We've got to stay away from our people's dragons.
Yes, you've got to leave people's dragons alone. Or maybe the dragon is just another name for the kitchen to make it sound exotic so you can go somewhere new.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to the dragon. The dragon? That sounds exciting. Where's that?
Yeah.
Out there.
I've entered the dragon. Best give it 5 minutes.
Darren, where did you get that sausage roll? I got it from the dragon.
I got it from the dragon, yes. It was in a dragon. So I went in a dragon and I got the dragon sausage. It's really not sounding too good, is it? This?
Would you like me to pop back and get you one? Yeah, why not?
I'd like the sausage of a dragon, please.
I'd like full dragon. I want a full dragon. I want a dragon.
In the dragon. Could you put the kettle on, please?
What's that thing with the Wonder Twins? Size of a dragon.
Yes. Yeah, dragon twin prowlers activate. Size of a sausage.
Don't confuse him with the cheeky girls.
Oh, Lembic Opik or whatever his name is will be on one of them, wouldn't he? Was that?
Any more, apparently.
Yeah, wasn't he? Yes, for those who don't know.
He was rutting one, wasn't he?
Yes, there was some, there was some, just for those overseas or under the age of like 105, there was a politician over here who looked very weird. Looked like he should have been on an 80s sitcom about holiday camps in the 1950s, and he got hold of
poster.
Yeah, or a wanted poster, and he ended up doing one of the cheeky girls for a while. And if you don't know who the cheeky girls, ask your parents. Anyway, hello everyone, and welcome to the Black Dog 2 Episode 1. Which we're going to be reviewing Enter the Dragon as a part of our shut-in cinema. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Elton.
And as I said, we're doing Enter the Dragon. Yes, we are. The Bruce Lee Kung Fu kicking. The film where you can look constipated and still be the coolest man in the room.
Indeed.
Indeed. So we'll be getting to that later. We're going to see how everyone's week's been and then move on to the film and see how it's gone. So we are going to start off this week with Elton. How you been, mate? How's your week been? Go anywhere nice over Easter?
It's been all right, actually. I partook in Lent again this year just for shits and giggles and have been in a chocolate coma ever since around about Sunday afternoon.
Hold on. Isn't Lent the whole thing of giving up stuff?
Yeah, gave up once again this year. Gave up biscuits, chocolate, sweets, crisps, and any little snack treat. We gave all of that up,
and then ended up in a chocolate coma.
Yeah, I feel like the human version of Ainsley Harriot's finger at the moment. It's quite disgusting.
I don't even know where to put that analogy. That's
so many Ainsley analogies, Harriot. So many layers, so much wrong.
There is. Oh. Well, there you go.
So, last episode. Thanks very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all soon. Fucking hell.
Feel like Ainsley Harriot's finger.
I think he's referring to that Shonky Lab episode where we were talking about Ainsley Harriot endorsing some chocolate biscuits, which were called Ainsley Harriot's
chocolate fingers, didn't they?
They were, yeah. Ainsley Harriot's chocolate fingers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like coriander flavoured, because the fucker's obsessed with coriander. Everything's got to have coriander on it. Ainsley, what are we doing this week, Ainsley? Oh, we're making a roaster. I've got to put some coriander on it. Oh yeah, what are we doing for dessert? Oh, we're going to have a treacle pudding, and we'll have some custard in it. We shall have some coriander in it. Then I'm going to make love to myself with a handful of coriander later on. That's it. That's finishing off my day because it's finished me off.
It's like he's catnip, isn't it?
Well, it's like what's the other one? Jamie Oliver. If you watch him, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Weetabix, soup, or maybe even a bowl of Angel Delight, it always has to have rock salt, olive oil, and a lemon on it.
Got to drizzle it.
And something else as well.
Oh, and something else. Oh, yeah. Yeah, gob.
Spit all on the food, salt on the floor, fucking magic, fucker.
And so, and now our guest for this week is Jamie Oliver. Yeah, salted, lovely, minted, lovely. And anyway, you get anything you like from the cupboard because, you're all locked in. Yeah, so we'll start with some homegrown mung beans. Where the fuck are you going to get mung beans from, motherfucker? I don't know.
Mung.
Yeah.
Just go out onto your 13-acre allotment and get your pigs to shuffle.
Yeah, we're all in this together. Lockdown cinema, lockdown food. Yeah, lockdown food.
Got some leftover venison and caviar, which I bought because I didn't pay my staff properly.
Yeah. And I brought down this fantastic pheasant from across the way using my shotgun and
in my 4x4.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're all lented up and chocolated up then now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Also, we had to trim the pooch.
I did that once.
Jim, come on, Jim.
Jim, where are you, man?
That one speaks for itself.
I trimmed the pooch and I nicked it, and I couldn't wear white trousers for a month.
Didn't Katy Perry make a song about that? I trimmed a pooch and I liked it.
Oh dear.
Right.
No, the dog was looking a little worse for wear, a little shaggy around the edges, and we got my clippers out to give him a little trim, and he wouldn't let us do his feet, so now he looks like he's wearing flares.
Nice.
But it looks all right everywhere else. It's just his feet. Yeah. He looks like Chewbacca from like the knees down.
So do I. Or at least until I back comb, anyway. Then I look like Captain Caveman. Anyway. Is this the same dog when we did Black Dog 1 and ended it in May 2019? You were giving back next week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so we're clear.
He's still with us at the moment. Yes.
I mean, I'm not denying anyone the love and ownership of a dog. It's just I was just wondering if you were still in the denial stage of owning that dog.
It's not just a river in Egypt.
No.
What dog?
Denial. Anyway, so you've back. You've back. Go on.
Still got the dog. Still looking after him.
Lovely.
And because everything else is shut at the moment, you can't really get around the village or go in. No one's operating, so we're not allowed to go out and get the pooch trimmed. So we decided to take it on ourselves. And I think he went through about 4 stages of, oh my God, what are you doing? Please stop that. I'm going to bite you now. And oh, go on then, just get it over and done with.
Yeah. Yeah, they do give up after a while.
Yeah. He looks all right. He's a bit scruffy. There's like patches and it looks like an unkempt lawn. But, he's all right. He's still the coolest dude in town at the moment. So it was an experience. I never thought I'd actually be shearing an animal. Next week, I'll be dipping some sheep.
As opposed to what? You Amanda? Or...
Shaving his pooch.
Children?
Easy.
Steady. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a film about that.
I just realised where I went with that. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Amanda. Oh.
You'll have to answer to that.
No, it's fine. Lockdown. Hopefully she'll forget. It'll be too late. It'll be too late. By the time we come out of this apocalypse, it'll be like one of us will be dead.
Yeah.
Probably be me. Oh, dear. Anyway. Oh, right. So you've got a patchy dog now.
Yeah, he looks all right, but yeah, he's bit patchy. There's some long bits, some short bits.
Nice,
but he's all right. Actually, I can't believe he actually did it. And when you're shaving it all off, you're like, this hair is just not going anywhere. And you're shaving it, and you're like, no, okay. And then all of a sudden, you've got a dog which is half shaved. And won't sit still anymore, and you've got a pile of hair next to you the same size as that dog, and you're like, how did that come off of there? I don't understand that.
Carol wondered that once when I was doing some personal grooming. Took a while to sweep up, but you know. Cool. Anyway, have you been watching anything else, by the way? Anything to tell the listeners, media-wise? Keep everyone.
Have I been watching anything else?
What have you been watching?
I tried that. Darren, you mentioned that program that was on Amazon last week.
Tales from the Loop.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I tried that. I couldn't quite get into it. I don't know what it was. It seemed all right. I don't think I was in the right mood at that, or right frame of mind at that time. It looks interesting, but it didn't grab me as much as I was hoping. I will give it a go. I'll give it a couple of episodes, see how we go. I might even watch episode 1 again just to see what I missed, because I definitely missed stuff. But it just didn't hook me in as much as I was hoping it would.
Probably be giving that a go tomorrow morning. I've still got one more day off work, so I think I'm gonna give that a try then.
How do you know when you're off work if you're social isolating?
Because this was a holiday that I booked because of a certain event that didn't take place.
Did you do anything nice
this week? Well, you'll find out later on. I should just talk back. This is your time now, Elton.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry, man. This is your time. This is for you to share with the class.
Messianic, isn't it? This is your time.
This is your time, man. This is your time.
Chosen one.
Yeah.
It's my time to shine, and all I talk about is chocolate and shaving a dog. So there you go.
Yep.
I'm sure there's a film about that somewhere, but never mind.
Yeah, Rule 34, man. It's somewhere out there. It's out there.
It certainly is. There is a parallel universe with that in it.
Just don't Google it, for fuck's sake. Chocolate shaving the dog. I'm sure that's a euphemism by any standard.
Good Lord, yes.
Anyway, so you tried Tales from the Loop. Anything else, sir?
No.
Fair enough.
I haven't really had any time to do anything else. So yeah, that was my weekend.
Cool, lovely. Okay, and what about you, Jim? Have you done anything? Watched, seen, read, done anything?
Well, I've had an injury.
Oh no, that's usually my job. What's happened?
Well, as some listeners may know, a friend of mine is currently, terminally ill with cancer. I'm helping him out, and which obviously hasn't stopped throughout the lockdown.
No.
And most of my job is taking out his dog, which it's a big dog, needs a good big walk. So, I take him out most of the week, and a few other people and his mum do some other days as well. But, he lives right next door to the big park in town. It's a lovely big Victorian Park. And I have to say, I'm very impressed as even on Saturday, when the weather's been, the best day we've had this year, at least up here, it wasn't full of fuckwits camping out, basting themselves like turkeys.
Wow.
In fact, you know what I mean? It was actually, I've seen that park busier when we had the various stupidly named storms in January and February, when, sort of gale force winds with the dog who doesn't give a toss. So more people in the park then than actually on Saturday, on the nicest day of the year. So that was good.
Nice.
However, there are still a few fuckwits the virus hasn't got yet.
Wow.
Although this one nearly met his end yesterday.
Oh, God. Go on.
So I had Rocky the dog out, and he stopped to sniff something. And I was keeping an eye on him just in case he's going to do that thing dogs do, where they suddenly flip on their back and go, oh, I found some crap, I'm going to roll in it.
Oh, yeah, the fox poo.
So I just keep my eye on it. And a cyclist literally zipped by me.
Right.
Now, I didn't hear said cyclist. Now, just to give you context, okay, it was a bit of a tight spot. There was only literally half a mile of space he could have passed the other side of me. And half a mile the other side. But no, he had to fly past, literally inches from me. Rocky jumps out of his skin. And the first I knew there was a cyclist was, in cartoons, we have those old signposts.
Yeah.
And the Roadrunner goes by, or the Tasmanian Devil, and it spins round.
Yeah.
That was me. Literally 270 degrees with a dog, with several hundred pounds of angry black dog, literally at the full extent of its leash, and my arm out straight.
Oh,
so
shit.
Currently, I'm grabbing the heat bags on today, as I've got pulled muscles right across my back. Thank cunt.
Jesus Christ.
It's very quiet. If I see him again,
he's
not coming home.
No. Take a stick. Take a stick, or next time let the dog off the lead. That will sort it out. Jesus.
I mean, what a twat. I mean, you're supposed to be social distancing anyway, but come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had the nerve to go bloody hell and was affronted that the dog nearly took his head off.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Unbelievable.
It's a shocker, isn't it? When you ride past a dog, shock the dog, and you're doing it fast enough when you've got miles around you, and suddenly go, "Hey, well, I never. That dog didn't take too well to being shocked." Wow,
incredible.
Some people.
Sorry, did he bite your face off? Oh, my bad.
There's a shocker.
Yeah. I can tell you, there's the police in our area are a bit laissez-faire. I say, I know there's another guy walks a big German Shepherd in that park, and not long ago, two lads came up and said, "Here, give us your wallet and your phone." So he just let the dog off the lead, and they both ended up in hospital.
Nice.
And the police didn't prosecute.
Good plan. Good. That's what we like.
You scared my dog. Oh dear.
Oh, what a shame. Blimey.
Yeah, people be crazy, man.
Yeah. You don't go scaring any big fucking dogs, and certainly don't do it nearby them. You keep your distance, man. You don't know what a dog's going to do until you sort of see it.
This is it. It's really bizarre. But in better news, I started watching Tales from the Loop.
Oh yeah, and
now, like a lot of people got a vibe that's going to be like Stranger Things.
Yeah,
and it was an influence on Stranger Things, the actual original art and the book, but it's not like that at all. And I don't want to say too much about it, but it is moody. It's not slash zap zap zap.
Yeah,
sort of sci-fi. It's sci-fi for grown-ups. Well, probably in the arrival mode.
Oh wow! Okay, right now you got my attention.
It's not episode 1, episode 2 ongoing storyline. Each episode tells its own story, but each story builds on the next one. Of that, a character that's in, say, story 1, they'll take the limelight, and you'll hear their story in story 2, and then in story 2 you'll have seen a character who will be the focus of episode 3.
Yeah,
and on it goes. I mean, we're about halfway through because it was we did binge a lot, and I thought, okay, well, we're going to ration these now.
Yeah,
but I would say it's not. It's kind of like Black Mirror,
right?
But it can be quite melancholy. But I'm very impressed with it. But it is moody, and don't expect a Stranger Things or a Black Mirror. They're just the best reference. It's very much its own thing.
Yeah,
and I'm quite really enjoying seeing how these stories just interlink and sort of, fit together. I can't tell if there's an overall story arc and things are going to pull together more in the second half yet, but I'm really enjoying it. But I think you do have to be in the right mood for it, though, definitely. It's not kind of chewing gum for the eyes.
Right, yeah. Because the thing that bugs me because I haven't seen it. I haven't actually watched the show yet. But because I know that Simon is it Simon or Steven Spielberg? It's Simon.
Simon, I think. Yeah.
Simon. Yeah, because I know his artwork very well. Seeing the artwork and then seeing the stills from the trailer just makes me think, do I want to watch this? Because it's going to put a story behind the artwork that I perhaps didn't see or didn't want to see, if you know what I mean. So, like, for example, like that one I really love, which is that kind of robotic Sonic the Hedgehog kind of smashed through a motorway overpass. And it just kind of has so much implication behind it. And you think, oh, I wonder what happened there. And I sort of worry that if I watch the TV show that has that in it and someone goes, oh, yeah, that's the great Sonic the Hedgehog robot cat wars of 2027, I'll be like, not really the thing I was after. And I was just...
Well, the thing is, what I can tell you that might allay your fears is that, one, it's not... I can see why people compare it to Black Mirror, but where Black Mirror is all about the tech, this is more about the people. And the tech is just sort of flavouring the story, and they don't explain an awful lot. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's like
but
Monsters.
Sorry?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. The film Monsters.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. We're just two people going through a world that's been changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But also, all the original paintings are all set in Sweden, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is set in an American version.
Okay.
So you got a separation there. You can still have the paintings in their universe and this series in its universe over there, and they're connected but separate.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I know kind of I think it's the same. They did a role playing game of it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, and
what's that?
What's up? Shut up!
Oh dear.
No, I want you to fuck off.
What's that?
Thank you.
Oh, is that Alexa?
Bloody hell.
Alexa's
sorry about that. Fucking the technology's kicking off again.
Oh dear.
But they did a role playing game, proper tabletop role playing game, and in the book for that, it details the original sort of Scandinavian setting that you can read about in the original art books. But they also created an American analog. Yeah. And this, I think this TV series using the American model. So they are sort of, you can compartmentalize them and put one over there if you don't want to mingle them.
Yeah, that's cool. I can do that. That's fine, because it kind of like one of the films I watched this week, like the old 2009 Star Trek. You can say, "Yep, that's over there," and I like that, and that's fine. But over here's the other thing that I like as well, and that can stay over there. You can separate them, but enjoy them both for the similar reasons. Yes,
indeed. I would say it's a series you have to be in a particular mood for. But it is quite nice. It is sort of generally quite gentle, and some of the stories are, shall we say, there's an emotional range between the episodes.
Nice.
I've been very impressed with it. And it's got music by Philip Glass, which is just filmed, and the music and the images just sublime.
Nice. Okay, well that's definitely me sold, because I love a bit of Philip Glass. Cool. Okay. Anything else, sir?
I'll leave it there for this week.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's Tales from the Loop in Amazon, isn't it? Amazon Prime.
Yes, yep.
Brilliant. There you go. Right, there you go. There's a little recommendation for everyone out there. Right, so, Mr. Barnard, how about you, sir? How's your thing been going? Are you out arguing with Alexa before we get going?
No, I'm not out. With Alexa. And Jim, just remember, when they do become sentient in August, your place will be the first place that they fire the missiles at, because you've just told her to fuck off. So
it happens all the time. They'll bump me before they take over.
let's take over the world, but first let's bomb the shit out of Jim's house. So yes, there you go.
Yeah.
So this week, yeah, I've watched stuff and I've played stuff.
Okay.
A little while ago, I my Xbox Live Gold membership ran out, so I thought, right, what are we going to do? Are we just going to go with the normal Gold, or are we going to go for the Gamer Pass? And so I've signed up for Gamer Pass, and so my collection of games has now expanded. Okay, all this stuff that I wanted to play, but been like, oh no, I can't afford to buy that. Quite a bit of it is now part of this collection.
Do you want to just explain what
for free?
Do you want to explain what Game Pass is for those who don't have consoles or Xboxes?
Sure, no problem. What it is, Game Pass allows, it's like a fee you pay once a month. I think it's about 11 quid. This does include Xbox Live Gold, which gives you free games every month, as well as other things like multiplayer ability and stuff like that, and some other discounts. But what Gamer Pass does is it gives you a whole library of games that you can just access without actually paying the full price for. You just pay this one-off fee at the start of the month, and you get like about 150, 200 games to pick from.
Yeah, it's kind of like Netflix, isn't it? It's Netflix for games, isn't it?
Exactly. You do that with it, and to tell you the truth, I think it's actually, considering some games can be incredibly short, they get like a big fanfare, but then you play them and they're 5 minutes long. Yeah, it's like if you ever play Call of Duty on single player, that's like you blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah,
it's that kind of thing. So with this, I've now got this whole range of games I can now dip into and start playing. It's a bit of a dangerous thing as well, because if you get slightly bored by something, or say if you're playing this game or you're going to play it and it says, oh, there's an update, do you want to install it? You sit there and it's like, I get itchy picking finger, so I go and download something else and start playing it. There's always something waiting in the wings for me to play.
Nice.
So you're going to get regular game reviews from me from this point on. Okay. And the one game that I have played this week, the one that caught my attention, is one that I've been waiting to play for a little while now. It's called Journey to a Savage Planet.
Oh, yes.
Have you ever heard of it at all?
Yes, I have. But go for it. Go on.
Okay, so the basic premise of this is you play sort of like some schmuck who works for this this company that's looking to expand the human race to various planets. And so what they do is they trick people into joining their cause, and then they fire you off to a planet that they think is uninhabited and looks good for colonization, and you just have to go there and check it out. Right?
Yeah.
The comedy in the game is brilliant. It's again, it's quite crazy. It's quite in your face. I think it's worth it alone just for the junk mail that you get through on your emails, because you get videos and everything like that. You get adverts for stuff, and they've really done well with these. They've filmed a load of these adverts, these crazy adverts for different products, like this. They've got this advert for a thing called, I think it's called Gloop, and it's basically a food that's replaced all food, and it's just this purple gunk.
Right.
And they show you can get it in these flavors, and they go, you can get it in roast beef, and it's just a plate of gunk. You can get it in treacle tart, and it's just a plate of gunk. And it's the same plate of gunk, but with different flavors put in front of it. So it's stuff like that.
Right.
And there's what is it? Like sea monkeys. Do you remember sea monkeys?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Yes. Just for anybody that doesn't know, sea monkeys were these little things that they were like little shrimp, tiny, tiny microscopic shrimp that they used to sell people. And they used to get a little fish tank and stuff like that. Just add water to this packet and it would make these things come alive. Well, they do a similar thing in this. And it's basically, they've got micro-sized people in a shopping centre. And you just add water and they go about their daily business. And if you get a bit bored, you can invoke a Black Friday. You just see them kick the shit out of one another. So, the game itself, lots of exploration to do. If you like a lot of jumping around and stuff like this. It's a good game. It's first person,
right? Yeah.
But you get lots of upgrades for things. You have to do certain missions, and they give you certain science stuff to do, which is things like, for this science experiment, we want you to see if you can, nail 3 birds to a floor and then blow them up using a rocket launcher within 3 seconds. And you get merit points for it, which you can spend on upgrading certain things. I recommend if you want a nice little game that's not really serious at all and you don't have to think about it too much and it's a bit of a giggle, then have a go at this. Okay,
cool.
Download it if you can. If you've got Gamer Pass, then you can get out. I think it's available on just about every format. I think it's on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. So check it out. It's
cool.
It's really good.
Cool.
So the other stuff that I've watched this week,
yes,
John Oliver last week tonight. That show just gets better every week, and he hasn't even got an audience.
Yeah, it's
just John Oliver himself is just absolutely brilliant. Just the way he comes across, he's fucking brilliant. He's just really funny. I don't know if you remember. Did I tell you about the picture that he was trying to track down?
No,
he was bored. He said I was bored. During the lockdown, he said, and so I've been flipping through channels, and he found this 1970s auction program about art, and it was like QVC. They were doing reruns of this thing, and somebody had painted this, done this painting, and it was called Last Week. I think the painting was called, or Tonight. The picture was called, and it's basically 2 rats with like rat heads but human bodies about to get down to it on a bed. But the people presenting this program can't even see that, even though there's a great big tub of KY painted in the background. So John Oliver's like, I must have that picture. And so he put the feelers out for anybody that could actually find it. He said, look, I will pay you $1,000
right,
for this painting, and we will donate $20,000 to the food bank of your choosing.
He should have called me. I could make that for him.
Yes, but just to say, they actually did find it. He's actually got it. He put it out on Facebook. He put a big picture up on his wall of him, like, look, I've got it. So you see the genuine joy in his face as well when he's presenting it on the program.
2 rats getting on down with it with some KY jelly. Nice.
Yeah, you've got to see this picture. It's just like, but it's the way that the guys presenting the auction program are just oblivious to what this, and it's like, can they not fucking see what is going here on this? They're going, oh yeah, serial. It's 2 rats getting up to human type activities, and there's like the bottle of KY on the back. Obviously, it's been used because there's a drip coming out of the nozzle at the end.
Is there hair on the?
Yeah.
Is there hair on the case? Oh no,
no, I don't know, but have a watch of it. Sky TV. If you got Now TV, it's on there. It's in one of the entertainment packages. There, it does come on once a week, but it is just really worth the watch.
Lovely,
even without our audience. In fact, I would probably say it's better without a studio audience as well, laughing in the background.
Yeah, nice.
He plays to the camera really well, John Oliver. So there's that. So the last thing I'll tell you about, I watched a film this week. I watched the Elton John story, Rocket Man.
Oh yeah, and
thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I mean, I like some of his early stuff anyway. So this, this was quite, for me, it's like watching Bohemian Rhapsody. It's, I mean, it's a good partner film to that as well. Actually, you do see the parallels between, Elton John and Freddie Mercury's life, except Elton John is still here, and Freddie Mercury isn't, of course. But
you say
there's a few times when it came very close for Elton John. Let's put it like this.
Yeah,
very close. Yeah. But the songs are all great. And it's Taron Egerton who plays Elton John in this. Is it Egerton?
Egerton.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody who's watched The Kingsman, he was in that. He played the lead role of that as Eggsy. He is absolutely brilliant in the role. He's got Elton John's mannerisms down. Even though he doesn't sound exactly like Elton John, the way he actually talks is like Elton John's. So yeah, all the all the little sort of like bits in his voice that the little personality bits in there are all there. He gets the part. He nails it. He really does.
Nice.
And it's got some great lines in it as well.
Nice.
He goes, I started being. He's sitting there in a rehab, and he just says, I started being a cunt in 1970, and I just forgot to stop. It's just one of these minutes where it's just like, this is coming to a head. He's got to change his lifestyle, or that's going to be it for him,
I think I'll put that on my biography.
Exactly.
Title of my biography.
He's quite brutally honest. It's a very fantastic version of his life as well. It's there's a lot of set pieces in it for the music. Like it suddenly goes into fantasy land. Yeah. And they do weave in the music to certain situations as well.
You know who directed that, by the way?
Yeah, it was Dexter Fletcher.
Dexter Fletcher, that's right.
Fletcher, yeah, and he's done a really good job. Like I say, I really enjoyed it. It's got one or two surprise casting choices in there as well, like Bryce Dallas Howard as his mum, who doesn't seem to age throughout the whole thing. Even though you see Elton John growing up, it's only like until the last 10 minutes of the film when suddenly they go old, and that's it. So like she was obviously a very well preserved person.
Yeah.
And he's like the guy that she's with as well. He seems to stop aging until old, and then that's it. So it's as if somebody thought, oh, we should have aged them, shouldn't we? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's do that now.
Yeah. Continuity editor goes, oh fuck, hold on, hang on.
Indeed. Yeah. And I think the one thing I get from this, it just confirms what you already know. There are a lot of cunts in show business. A lot of cunts in show business. And Elton John is by no means the worst. No. The worst one out of that. He's not the most cuntiest one there. No. There are people who are a lot more cunty than him.
Oh, yes.
Indeed. If you get a chance to watch it, like a bit of a, if you like any of the old music of Elton John, and it is kind of nice. I don't know how accurate the thing is, but it's not. I don't think it's wearing accuracy on its sleeve for this one. It plays with it a bit, and it is more entertainment than anything else. But it's still a good film. It's very enjoyable.
Cool, lovely. And where did you see that?
I actually had the Blu-ray for that, even though you can get it on things like Netflix and stuff like this now. I think it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon for rent, I think.
Yeah, I had the Blu-ray anyway from I had vouchers for the birthday last year, so I got it, and I've only just got around to watching it now, and it's like, why have I not watched this earlier?
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They're looking at some of their old Blu-rays that they bought and just left on the shelf, still in the cellophane, and go, oh, I might give that a go, actually. Yeah. So maybe that's another thing. if we find a Blu-ray stuck on our shelves with cellophane, watch it and see what it is. See what you even like it.
Give it a go. Well, I've got a couple of that. I've got another one sitting here which I'll probably watch this week, and I'll give you the heads up. It's a film called Ready or Not.
Oh, I've heard of that.
I bought this on the off chance just because it just sounded really interesting.
Cool.
Which is about when a young bride marries into a ridiculously rich and delightful deranged family. Her wedding night becomes the worst nightmare, and she's forced to play a lethal game of hide and seek. Yeah, and must fight to stay alive. So I've seen the trailer for that, and it does. I've got to say, it does look good. So I'll probably be giving that a spin.
Okay, we'll look forward to that then. Brilliant, because that's out on rent on all digital platforms as well this week. Ready or Not?
Yes, it is. You can get it anywhere. Even get it on. Was it the Xbox store's got it? Yeah. I think Amazon's got it on their Now TV, that kind of thing.
Lovely,
Cool.
lovely, cool. Okay then. Well, I'll keep mine brief because mine's really not. I didn't do an awful lot, but what I did do was I watched. I seem to have watched a humongous amount of films. Not all necessarily new films or anything interesting. Just to go through the list here. I watched Kingsman 2, ironically, which has both Elton John and Taron Egerton in. So there you go. It's all connected, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched it purely because we're getting to that point. I don't know if anyone else in their household's doing the same. When you've got Amazon and you've got Netflix, and then you spend 2 hours watching a film, but you also spend 3 hours beforehand going, no, don't like that. Seen that already. No. Oh, I'll pick that. No, I don't fancy that one with that guy in it. No. Yes, no. Is that appropriate? No. Yes, no. So we just got to Kingsman, and I was just like, fuck it. Yes, we'll have it. And I remember now, I wasn't terribly a big fan of it. But, yeah, it's not as good as the first one, I'll say that, and it's about a half hour too long. But there was stuff to have fun with. There was a lot of fun to be had with it. Have you seen it, guys? Anyone?
No, I've got it,
no.
but I haven't watched it.
Yeah, okay. So you've not watched it, Jim. Elton, have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen any of the Kingsmen.
Haven't you?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. The first one's on Netflix. There you go. Put that on the list. Bush,
Watch, man.
bosh, bish,
Yes.
bosh. Right, okay, cool. Then what I did was, then I started a couple of days into the Easter. I was doing some exercise on my bike, and Katie came downstairs, stuck Disney Plus on, and we watched Disney's Atlantis: The Lost Kingdom. Has anyone seen this?
I've seen the first. If that's the first one, then yes, because there's one of those, the sort of like Disney sequels, like Disney's Aladdin 2. Jafar goes to the
vets.
opticians.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah, straight to video. Jafar goes straight to Blockbusters. Jafar goes for a kebab. Yeah. Well, anyway, I watched that, and I have to say that you can see when Disney finally decided, you know what, we actually need to buy another company to bolster our back catalogue. We need to buy Pixar or something, because Atlantis, and I don't know if anyone's got nostalgia for it out there in the audience, but it is a complete pile of shit. I've never watched a Disney cartoon now where I sat there going, why are they doing that? Why did I care about this? Why are they still doing that? Why is Leonard Nimoy lying on a sofa staring at a rock pool? What is going on? Why do I care? What a pile of shit.
Is this an old thing then?
Yeah, this is a real old one. Basically,
and it's a series?
No, it's a film. It's just a single film. Basically, it's sort of supposed to be like a Victorian steampunk type thing, where like a Jules Verne style thing, where what happens is the adventurers, a scientist's dad dies, and he was cast out of the scientific community for not knowing, or for constantly believing in Atlantis. And his son wants to sort of prove that Atlantis exists, and he gets sort of funded by this mad millionaire. And essentially, the mad millionaire's got some relation to his dad, and he assembles a crew to go on like a Nautilus-style boat to go find Atlantis. And the crew is like, you look at them within 2 seconds and you go, you're evil, you're evil, you're evil, you're the comic relief, you two are the quirky characters, and you were clearly drawn in the 1950s when everyone thought big tits was the height of sexuality. And they find Atlantis in about 15 minutes, and then the film just kind of grinds to a halt while the hero falls in love with this native Atlantean, and then swim through the oceans and translate all these things and go on a nonsensical adventure looking for stone tablets, and then they find the heart of the island, and then the bad people are bad, and then out of nowhere they have a Star Wars style but steampunk dogfight around a balloon. And you just go, where did the balloon come from? Why has everyone suddenly got airplanes now? Why we're still underwater? What the fuck is going on? And then the film just goes, shit happens. It all ends. The end. Da, 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 da. And it clearly has one of those. It has a feel that it felt like on the drawing board. It just went, do some stuff about Atlantis. Oh, and kids like Star Wars. Put some dogfights in there. And then it's like, and make it exactly 90 minutes because the parents won't stay awake through this shit. And that's exactly it. Oh, it's fucking awful. It's really piss poor film.
Just shit thrown at a screen, really.
Yeah, but not even well designed or nice looking shit or even charming shit. There's just random shit. But anyway,
it's been designed for a double bill with a better film.
Yes, yeah, you get the feeling that
Disney did a lot of those really crappy live action things for like the second half of a double bill.
Yeah,
padding.
Yeah, it wasn't. Unfortunately, it wasn't even live action to keep you interested. It was just piss poor drawn. It was just awful. It was the kind of thing you imagine that there was two teams. There was the team that had the budget to make Hercules. And then there was the trainee team who just like drawing steampunk Victoriana over here, and the Disney were like, "Well, we got nothing for them to do, so just let them do something." It was bloody awful. So Disney Plus, everyone do check it out. And then on that night on Netflix, I decided, against my worst of instincts, to trust the Netflix algorithm.
Oh.
And it kicked up a film called The Hustle. Have you heard of this?
Rings a bell.
Well, okay, let's go for it. Anne Hathaway is a posh, sexy con woman. Rebel Wilson is a common as muck, low down, sort of slightly skanky, but with a heart of gold, con woman. They both now see if you can see where this is going.
I've seen this.
They both go to a Parisian island or a Parisian resort. They're both con people, and then they find that there's someone who's got a lot of money, and they both make a bet that if they can con this mark, whoever cons them, the other one has to leave the island and never return. So they make a bet, and then they do all these kind of weird cons and trying to scupper each other while also working together to con this person. Does that sound familiar to you? Because it's
Hero Scandals.
Exactly. Thank you very much. 10 points
with tits.
Exactly. And it's bloody awful. It's the worst kind of thing. The thing is, right, Rebel Wilson can be funny, and Anne Hathaway can be funny, and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels as a premise can be funny. We've seen it done, But when it's all put together by someone who clearly has a script writing ability of going, Rebel Wilson has to say things about being fat and wanting to have sex all the time. Anne Hathaway has to be stuck up, clever, and just generally stuck up and clever and stuck up, and that's about it. And it just like, oh my god, there's a scene where Rebel Wilson basically blackmails an old guy in a plain toilet to get back to the island. And to do that, she sort of sits there and she starts talking. She basically fucks him in a toilet, in an airplane toilet, and for no reason other than just because someone wrote it down and thought that would be funny. And it's that kind of humor all the way through. And like that gag that they kept bringing up about Thor in Endgame. There's the blood of gods going through my veins. Well, there's actually the blood of cheese whizzes going through your veins. That sort of thing kept coming up all the time. The gags, literally, the whole thing is like one note. It's just like, ha ha, Rebel Wilson's fat. Ha, she wants sex all the time. Ha, ha. You're not laughing. Why aren't you laughing? Laugh, because look, there she is trying to have sex with someone. Ha. Oh, she said she's fat again. Ha. Now Anne Hathaway said she's fat. Ha. Yeah, thanks Netflix algorithm. 93% chance of being good, it said to me. This is... And if I ever find out who wrote that algorithm, I'm going to stick his algorithm straight up his arse, because it was a pile of old bollocks. Other than that, yeah, that's on Netflix, everyone. Do check it out. And finally, just 3 others, which were just quick. You know, everyone's seen them, so not much to say about them. I saw the 2009 Star Trek again, which is, I still think, the last good Star Trek thing that ever came out. Then there's Raiders of the Lost Ark, which I nearly got murdered while watching, because I found myself quoting the entire film, and all 3 other people in the room just said that they would kill me if I said another word. So that was good. And then I got a massive dose of... I just had a yearning for nostalgia on that after that day, and I watched Doctor Who: The Day of the Doctor.
Excellent!
Which on Netflix, which is still bloody good. And even if you don't know Doctor Who, watching John Hurt, Tom Baker, Matt Smith, and David Tennant all playing off of each other is still pure joy. I loved it. I watched it, and I actually found myself doing something I haven't done with Doctor Who for a long time, which is laughing at it and enjoying it. Especially when they all the doctors are insulting each other.
Love that bit where they get sort of like they're about to get attacked, and David Tennant and Matt Smith pull out their sonic screwdrivers, and John Hurt goes, "What are you going to do? Build a wardrobe?"
Yeah, why don't you assemble a wardrobe at them? Yeah, and the way they keep referring to each other, like, "Oh, yeah, we're stuck in here because we're listening to Chinny over there. Well, I'm stuck in here because I'm with Sandshoes and Grandad." And yeah, it was just great fun. I had bloody good laugh with it, and it's again, it's on Netflix, and you can download it off of Netflix, so that's worth a look as well. So there you go. But that's been it. Apart from that, I 100% platinumed Spider-Man on the PS4. All achievements. Thank you very much, and good night. Boom.
Sad about that.
Sorry?
Are you sad about the fact that you've got 100% on that now? Because that means there's nothing left for you to do on it.
Well, that was the case until I bought the DLC.
Here we go again.
And now I've got 3 chapters of Spider-Man, the city that never sleeps. To do, which is very good because they're all 3 different supervillains. But it's great fun. I love Spider-Man. It's such a good game. Such a good game, especially once you get used to it. All the flying and jumping about. Even though I did actually scream at the screen once, "You cheating fuckers," as it stiffed me on a challenge. But you know, that's only part of the course. Anyway.
Are you going to accidentally sort of like delete your save game and I may have to start that all over again?
Oh no! Because you see, you may have heard this phrase before, but there's a thing called New Game Plus. Have you heard of that?
Oh yes.
No, what's this?
Well, some games have this thing where if you complete the game, it gives you an option to do New Game Plus, which is to take all the stuff that you've accrued over the game. So all the upgrades, all the money, all the things, all the powers, all the stuff that you would have leveled up to get in the first game. And then it creates a new save where you start with everything and play the whole game, but with everything. And so now I'm playing a New Game Plus version of the last game, but on what's called Ultimate Spider-Man level. So I'm at full maximum super hardness and with extra story content because of the DLC. So I will be playing that game until the day I die, or until I get hankering to play Mass Effect again, which is really starting to make me itch because I really want to start playing it again, but nobody really wants to hear about that anymore. So, anyway, let's just wrap it up there. We shall now move on to the first of our reviews of this new series. And we don't have rose tinted specs anymore. Oh no, we don't have shit cover goggles anymore. Oh no, it's the same shit. We've just rebranded it, just like every other bastard on the internet, and now it's called Shut-In Cinema.
I see it's nearly 5 o'clock. I'm here at home, my work's all done. No question where I'll be tonight, a place of cinematic fun. It's the lockdown, but I will not pout. Oh, my friends, I won't be seeing this out alone. There's Lee and Elton and Jim and Darren, all sitting far apart for social distance. We're at the Shut-In Cinema, down in the bunker of Shun. Down in the bunker of Shun.
Hey fellas, it's been nearly 5 years. You gonna let me out now or what?
No. Right, okay. So, Enter the Dragon, our first Shut-In Cinema movie. Okay. So, let's go to the old wiki. Enter the Dragon was a 1973 martial arts film produced and starring Bruce Lee. The film, which also co-stars John Saxon and Jim Kelly, was directed by Robert Klaus. I'm saying it like that as if everyone should know who he is, but I haven't got a clue.
Not a clue.
Not a foggiest. Not a. Oh, he did the Game of Death and Jackie Chan's Big Brawl, apparently. So there you go. If anyone's seen those.
Down the pub with him on Friday. Lovely bloke.
Well, yeah. All right. He died in 1997.
You thought he did.
Him and Elvis, eh?
Mind you, I did wonder why the conversation was so stunted and one-sided. It's just,
What was he not offering anything up? It's like Robert
didn't he get a fucking round in either? Jesus
cheap
Christ.
bastard. Yeah, he's got to sort out that links as well. Stinks, absolutely stinks.
I did actually say to him, maybe you want to take a BATH.
Yeah,
but
God, Rob.
Come on.
Yeah. Anyway, right. This film would be Bruce Lee's final completed appearance before his death on the 20th of July, 1973, at the age of 32. A joint American and Hong Kong production, Enter the Dragon, premiered in Los Angeles on the 19th of August, 1973, 1 month after Lee's death, and went on to gross how much? Jim.
Yen.
Sorry, how much?
A fistful of yen.
A fistful of yen, nice. Elton?
How can I compete with that? Oh, jeez.
You're on your own, man. Go.
4 nunchuckers and 2 snakes.
Right, okay. And Darren?
A truck full of shurikens.
Nice. I was going to say prawn balls and rice ramen noodles and, chicken chow mein. No, actually, it earned, from a budget of $850,000, it earned $90 million worldwide, which is the equivalent to which is the equivalent of $500 million adjusted for inflation.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
Shooting ball sacks.
Exactly. Enter the Dragon is widely regarded as the greatest martial arts film of all time, and in 2004 it was selected for preservation in the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally and historically or aesthetically significant. Among the first films to combine martial arts with the emerging blaxploitation genre, this led to a series of similar productions combining both genres. Its themes have also generated scholarly debate on how they reflected the change taking place within post-colonial Asian societies following the end of World War II. Enter the Dragon is highly influential on popular culture, leading to mainstream worldwide interest in martial arts as well as inspiring numerous fictional works including action films, television shows, fighting games, comic books, manga and anime. And if I may be so bold and put my geeky Commodore 64 hat on, 90% of the sound effects ended up in International Karate Plus. There you go. Anyway.
Did they?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I love all that.
Yeah, and that's definitely in there. Definitely in there. Yeah, the only thing it didn't have was the music. Anyway, right, so we're going to go through this. It's slightly different from when we usually review. We're still feeling our way through a new format, so to speak. So we're just going to see what everyone quickly thought about it. Headlines only. So we'll go around the table. So, Jim, did you like this?
Yes, I've not seen this for a good many years, and I thoroughly enjoyed revisiting it and found I saw a lot with fresh eyes, shall we say.
Yeah, I can imagine. What about you, Elton?
I think this is the first time I'd seen it all the way through. I'd seen little bits here, there, and everywhere and pieced together the story.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Yeah.
This was great.
Cool. And what about you, Dal?
Yeah, I get like everyone else. It's been a while, and I mean a good long while since I've seen this film. And yeah, very, very much enjoyed it.
Cool. I'll be honest. I'm a little on the fence. I do enjoy most of it, but there are bits of it that I was kind of like, ooh, what? So we'll go through them as we do the review. So the film basically starts with the Shaolin Temple and introducing Lee, played by Bruce Lee, and it's introducing all the characters through flashback as they are going to this tournament. And that was my first thing I wanted to talk to you about. What you guys want to talk about, like basically the opening. How do you think it sort of deals with those characters? Because for me, those flashbacks were kind of a bit pointless and weird. What do you think?
I felt it was trying to kind of pad its way. It felt as if, okay, we need to flesh these characters out, and we don't really know, and none of their stories are joined together. So let's just cobble something together, so at least we know where their story started and why they have a little, why they are on their journey to get some money.
Yeah. What about you, Dal? You were about to say something there. I heard you sort of pipe up a bit.
It's just like, like they could have put all this in just the right order. Really, you could have just had these people just kind of like, those bits in at the beginning there. You could have just flipped to the different situations and then have them all meet up on the boat and So yeah, I mean, flashbacks weren't really necessary for this. You could have edited it another way.
Yeah.
Unless there was a, let's get to some action first. Let's get that in there and then show them the background story. I don't know why they had that as a choice there, but it would have worked just as well without that.
Yeah, I mean, did you feel that way, Jim, when you saw the characters? Were they all kind of just? Was it the right way to? Because as I say, when I watched it, the first thing I thought was, why have them as flashbacks? Why not just have them as opening scenes?
I'm just guessing it's probably just so you could have some fighting at the start.
Exactly.
Or possibly it was just very fashionable to do that at the time.
Yeah.
And that's something we lose in context.
Yeah.
And it's been done to death now, and now it's just boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it was probably a lot fresher in 73. Yeah, just to have a little bit of disjointed storytelling. But it reminded me of kind of very like how a comic book would tell you it.
Yes, actually.
And you have literally, there's kind of like, they're not so much flashbacks, but they're almost like a little origin story for each character as they come in. And it felt very comic booky to me.
Yeah.
But so, as they were brief, I didn't really have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I thought, to the point. That's all we need to know about those guys.
Yeah.
Job done. Nailed it.
Yeah. I
don't know. Like Bruce's sister's flashback went on a bit.
Yeah, that was. I felt like that whole thing with that flashback in particular was because the thing that I carried right through that whole first half was there was no real reason to see Han, the evil Shaolin boss, as any kind of villain that needed Lee to go to. It was just like some English guy turns up, pretty much packing a monocle and going, rah, rah, what ho, we still own Hong Kong, don't you know? I mean, he just turns up and goes, you know, Han, you're going to Han's thing. Go and do that. And then it's like, why? What's Han done? No one explains anything.
We're sending you by yourself, so you're going to Han solo.
No, get out.
Hold on.
You have insulted my temple. Your comedy does not work in my dojo.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. There you go. So, yes, you have insulted my honor, and you have insulted this dojo, and you have insulted the Shaolin Temple. Anyway.
Can we say something a little bit about the dub voices, by the way? The typical dubbed voices, okay, on some of these characters there. It's like you've got the master of the Shaolin Temple.
Yeah.
And yes, and hey man, we're going to send you in there. You're my best student. You know the ways of the Force and stuff like that. It's just that you could see it wasn't his actual voice. Yeah. I think that's the thing that gets me about some of these old kung fu movies that they dub over, and it's the voices they choose to use for certain character sets.
Well, it's very D'Artagnan in the 4 Muskehounds, isn't it? Everyone's got a voice like this. What? You mean me? Oh no, He-Man.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have insulted me. You will fight me now. Yes. What are you doing? I'm going to fight you like a person without fighting. What? Oh, I'm on the boat. I have been fooled. Come back here. Yeah.
Which part's he playing? Oh, right. So he's playing it right. Okay, so you give him that voice there because that's out of that box for the master. He's the sidekick, so you give him the sidekick voice.
Yeah.
There you go. Get the sidekick actor in, to do the voiceover for that.
Yeah. The dubbing was interesting because the thing was, it was clearly Bruce Lee's voice. And,
he was the only, I think,
But his voice was out of lip sync with his lips. I don't know whether that was the digital transfer or they recorded him in a cupboard, because half the time that's what it sounded like, because his voice had an echo like someone had he's gone into the stairs. He's like, point do not look at the finger, point at the moon, or you will miss all that in glory. And if you listen to that, it sounds like this. He's like, do not look at the finger. And pointing at the moon. And you can almost hear someone outside going, oh, I'm just moving this sofa here. You coming out? It was really weird. There was a lot of that, and I kind of got the feeling that they just decided, you know what, fuck it. We'll just re-record all the audio.
Did it with the English bloke as well.
Sorry, Jim, what was that?
Well, the thing is, with these multi-national productions, where you've got people all speaking different languages on set, it was usually quickest and standard practice. And used to do this a lot in Italian cinema and spaghetti westerns. Is that they usually had everyone say the language in their own native language, and then they dubbed them all in post. Well, and then they do several different dubs for different territories. And sometimes some of the actors would come in and dub their own lines, if they're able. But often that wasn't the case.
Nice.
So I'm guessing that's probably how they did it, because that was pretty standard practice for, say, any production like this, which was, sort of multinational and featured, several languages being spoken on set.
Yeah. What was he going to say, Dale? They even did it with the English guys, didn't they?
You see it at the when he first appears. There's you can just hear. His voice is coming from another plane of reality. It's like the cosmic fucking voiceover box. Yeah. He's speaking from.
Yeah.
But don't hit back.
He sounds like one of those cinema adverts. What was it? My car's broken down. What would Mother say? He said she would have thought, or she would have said you should have gone to.
Sable Motors on the High Street.
Not far from this cinema. Yeah.
More Motors, Dartford.
You're
feeling hungry? They go to the Taj Mahal Indian restaurant.
Anyway, I was going to say, did you? I tell you, the one thing I did like with that opening thing, introducing the characters, was the one thing they did really well. The flashbacks were a bit pointless, but let me know if you agree with me or what. But if you how you feel about it, but they really told the story of those characters without saying a word, just simply by having them arrive in Shanghai. When you sort of look, because you get Bruce Lee, he's just sitting bolt upright and he's on that boat and he's just kind of going along and he's just checking everyone out. Whereas, Jim Kelly's character, was it Parsons he plays or Rose? Yeah. He kind of comes in. He just kind of comes in and he's walking the streets, kind of thing, and he's being all cool and just kind of checking out the streets and he's going from shop to shop, kind of thing, and dodging the traffic, and he's being a bit like that. And then you see John Saxon, and he's brought basically his entire house worth of luggage on a boat. It's like it's like a little tiny catamaran, and there's 65 cases all piled up. And it's like you get the characters right there. You didn't even need the flashbacks, to be honest. But
you get him, and then you got Jim Kelly who gets on the boat, and he's got a folded envelope in a pocket with his a week's clothes in it.
It kind of had the little sports bags we used to have as school kids.
Yeah,
and it was like a school kid size bag.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
little Adidas bag. Yeah. Oh boy, okay.
It's like an old flight bag. I'm sure it said Pan Am on the side of it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh my lord, Pan Am. Back when that was a futuristic brand in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So they arrive. We get the flashback for Bruce Lee's sister, which is a bizarro thing. I mean, she gets caught by these random ruffians. The dad seems fairly unconcerned about the whole thing, and yet they know everything that happened in that flashback. Did you notice that?
There didn't seem to be any reason for it at all. It was just a regular 1970s. Let's just put this woman in peril and scare her a little bit, and maybe she'll get away. But no, she ends up stabbing herself in the gut.
Yeah,
and you think, wow, that's a bit dark, isn't it?
Yeah,
that escalated very quickly as well.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, isn't it? It's there to sort of give you a connection to the henchman. But that henchman doesn't last very long in the film. It's so it effectively becomes pointless. But
what's Jackie Chan in there as well?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, there's Bolo Young. I know he was in it.
I love Bolo Young. I think he's brilliant.
You know what? I couldn't remember his name, and for 1 minute I thought it was Don the Dragon Wilson. I'm Don's in it.
Actually, I tell
Jackie
you,
Chan is in there.
Yeah.
Thug in prison. Oh, he was a thug in prison.
Oh, he was one of the drunken guys we'll get to later, I'm sure.
Right.
But yeah. So they get there, and the one thing, like I say, the one thing that kind of bugs me all the way through this, and tell me if I've missed something or what you guys thought, was what was the deal with Han? I know he was a bad Shaolin monk, and so that's why Lee was there. But there was never ever really anything that made you think, well, this needs to be some convoluted kind of plot to get a secret agent in and do this 007 bullshit. When really all he was effectively just a drug dealer and a sex trafficker or some. He wasn't even a sex trafficker, was he? He just had a harem of hookers, but.
No, he was trafficking them all around the world.
Yeah.
Was that ever?
Yeah.
Was that mentioned? Did I miss that then?
Yep.
Oh right, bollocks.
Yep, that was in the briefing at the start, and they explain why they know everything about him, but they have no evidence, which is why they need a man to go in. And he was exploiting the fact his island is like at the nexus of several international waters in a legal grey area.
Right. Okay. Because
if they could prove he was doing things and like soliciting drugs and prostitution to other countries, then the outside world could act. Right. On his own line, which he ran, he could do anything he liked there.
Yeah, a bit like Jersey.
Yeah.
He was quite open with it as well, just showing people around, wasn't he?
Yeah. I barely know you, John Saxon, but let me introduce you. Do you want to have a look at all my opium dens poppling away there? Yes, lovely. Thank you very much.
In Kentucky Fried Movie, the centerpiece of the film is a half an hour pastiche of Enter the Dragon called A Fistful of Yen, and in that when the hero Mr. Liu is doing the prowling around and breaking in. There's like a tourist tour. And here you can see where Dr. Klong produces over half all the world's heroin. Stay on the line, please.
Well, that is pretty much what it was like, wasn't it? It was just like, oh, these people, who are they? Well, they're just in jail because they're people who don't care where they wake up. What? Anyway, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, so we get to this whole thing that there's going to be a tournament. And so the whole middle section of this film is essentially, the second act is essentially introducing all the main players, introducing the tournament, and then basically having Bruce Lee essentially in a little human fly costume sort of run around the same 5 bits of landscape over and over and over again.
Yeah, well, it bounces in between, and I know these films, well, maybe a bit of 007, but it bounces in between like Temple of Doom. I know it wasn't made, but Temple of Doom and like a James Bond flick, where you have like everyone having like the banquet at the very beginning, and there's very ornate things going on and things you should be paying attention to, and then all of a sudden it becomes. When the sun goes down, it becomes like a super spy thing.
Yeah, and you can tell because Lalo Schifrin suddenly kicks into high gear with his sort of like soft, silky jazz number. It's like, oh yeah, we're into spy thriller now.
The jazz flute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but what did you guys think of the tournament sections? Because again, I'll speak for me to start with, but as far as I was concerned, it was like they were well choreographed, but they didn't feel more than just like filler to keep the audience interested in a kung fu movie, about someone trying to break a drug ring. It was a bit weird.
I felt a little bit of satisfaction in those bits because you've got the two people there that are set up for you to hate anyway, right? You've got Bilbo Baggins, or should I say, because he's from New Zealand. You got him there, right? And also Scarface as well, and it was just good to see them both get their asses kicked. So enjoyed those. immensely.
Yeah,
those bits.
Yeah, I mean,
so
yeah, but the tournament itself seems kind of fairly perfunctory because it's just like you see like 2 fights or 3 fights.
It didn't seem to have much structure around it. It was okay. We are in a kung fu movie. Kind of need to show some now.
Yeah,
let's do this. But it was nice and refreshing from an almost watching it first time point of view, where it's not okay. Right, you have a leaderboard, and we will knock this person out, then knock this person out, and then work your way up until the very end game where you have 2 people against each other. It never had that feel about it. It was going on in the background and you were kind of whittling people down, but there was never really a knockout system that you were really following and meant to be following as well. The main plot is getting on the island and finding out what the bad guy does. It's all filler around what was going on.
Yeah. What did you think about it, Jim? Is there anything about those fights?
The thing is, kung fu movies are all about the fights, the same way as opera is about the songs, not the storyline. And the problem is often you have fights that are disjointed and they're just thrown in there. People kick off for no reason, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it was kind of, I think, what Enter the Dragon does very well is it's drawing together the spy thriller, the emerging sort of blaxploitation genre, and your traditional sort of martial arts movies, and it's sort of molding them into one sort of funky package. And if you compare, say, the plotting of this to the average Bond film, where it just skips around just because, and it's just tissue paper stretched over to papering between set pieces.
Yeah,
this has its own logic to it, and it's kind of, I think it was good. We saw something of the tournament, but at the same time, it wasn't the prime focus.
Yeah,
and we didn't have that sort of really tedious, kind of cutaways and a montage or any of that sort of nonsense.
Yeah, lots of half faded scoreboards scrolling across the screen with numbers going up, and lots of people looking with wide eyes as the numbers slowly match up, and 6 more points to Mr. Lee, and it's so it's interesting because I think just when I was going into watching this, I was kind of expecting. And this is going to sound terrible, but the plot, reading it back, because I hadn't seen this film in about 30 years, I got to say, I was thinking it was going to be Street Fighter. Do you remember when we reviewed Street Fighter?
Of course.
Yes. With sort of mad, crazy, sort of genocidal megalomaniac holds tournament to distract world, and, person, hero is in the tournament, has to fight the tournament and work their way to the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, is that what we're getting? And then when it kind of like the tournament is kind of like hand waved away in favour of scenes of lady brings hookers to one hero, lady brings hookers to the other hero, lady brings hookers to the last hero. And now a banquet. And it's just like, what am I watching? Did I fall asleep in a bowl of hallucinogenic mushrooms and woken up watching Temple of Doom? It was just a bit weird, but yeah. But how did you think the spy bit worked particularly well, or?
I thought he pulled it off really, really well, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that bit with the rope where he was going up and down it like a yo-yo at one point.
Yeah. And
it got a bit comical, and then all of a sudden, like, Han was like, well, no, you guys can just fight all my people that were already on the island, all my guards. But the actual spy stuff itself, I thought it was... I thought Bruce Lee brings something to this. If you stick Billy No Mates in there that we don't really know because Bruce Lee has so much presence about. He's like a myth, isn't he? He's like a god to everyone. He's almost superhuman. He has that touch. He's been touched by God. He is at peak fitness. That is what a human being can look like if you train so bloody hard throughout your whole life. You may reach that. I'm on the opposite scale of that. I know that. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But he's got something about him. He's got this majesty when he's dancing around. And that bit with the snake as well, when he shoved it in that room. Also, just grabbing the snake and then smack it on the head just to wind it up a little bit. You think, dude, what are you doing, man? But he's so relaxed with it. He's like, no, it's all right. I know what I'm doing. It's all good. It's all good, man. But I liked all the super sleuth type stuff because it wasn't too over the top. Yeah, and he did get caught as well.
Yeah, I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? But then that's the staple of most Bond films, isn't it? That Bond has to get captured by the villain and then has to have the sort of showdown verbally before going into the full blown ta-da, we're going to have a big old fight now. But I mean, okay. Well, let's talk about the actors themselves. I mean, we've obviously Bruce Lee, goes without saying. But I mean, did anyone else? Did everyone think he still held up? I mean, I know Elton did, but does he fulfill the legend that everyone thinks he is? Dow?
Bruce Lee himself.
Yeah.
It's that. It's my personal point of view. I always remember having that one poster on my wall as a kid of Bruce Lee, and it wasn't like the one from Enter the Dragon. This one was him standing in a suit with sunglasses on, leant up against a Mercedes sports car.
Oh, nice!
And he just looked fucking smart in that picture. But he's like super fucking human in this. And when you see him fighting Han and he's getting scratched up a bit, and first it's like, well, hold on a minute, how's this happening? And then, of course, you realise that he's been trained in the same temple as Bruce Lee. So, there's going to be some trading blows. He's not just going to go down without a fight. I think he still works. I think he's still, for me, it's good to see that. It was good to see that, literally cutting through everyone else. Nobody literally lays a finger on him at all, except for the bad guy, as he should be able to, because he's the same sort of, he's from the same temple, same training, as it were, but he's using it for evil. So, to me, this, his character does come off as a little arrogant, though.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to say that, to the point where you're like, I'm not sure I like that about him. About this character that he's playing in this film. He was a little bit. It's like, I bet you're on. Are you giving me attitude? Yeah. It's that.
Yeah.
It's with that sort of character. Normally, there is a little bit of a fall to just knock some politeness back into them. It's that. Stop being so arrogant. You're not as it's blinding you to what your full potential. You're letting that get in the way.
Yeah,
but,
I think that's part. I think that's part of the problem, though, isn't it? In terms of his character. I mean, we'll get to John Saxon in a second, but is for me, and again, Jim, Elton, step in if you feel differently, but there is no. I don't know if this is just because of the nature of the film itself, but there's no real growth, or you don't feel anything with Lee's character, even though he beats up Scarface and kills him, and then he kind of and he coolly basically dismembers pretty much anyone who comes within like a mile of him, and he only comes a cropper with Han because of the mirrors, and keep getting sort of surprised. But you don't feel like anything changes with Lee by the time he hits the end. You know, how he starts is how he ends. Nothing's changed.
He's a James Bond character. He doesn't need to change.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. But I guess that's the problem, isn't it?
He's one of those kind of like master craftsman sort of character. You know, a super powered character.
Yeah.
At the end, where he remembers the lines his master tells him right at the beginning. That kind of that's where "use the Force" Luke comes from.
Yeah.
You're right. You're not there to see growth in these characters. You're there to watch Bruce Lee do his shit.
Yeah.
Same as, like you say, Jim, like watching a James Bond movie, you're there to see James Bond be James Bond. And we're there to see Bruce Lee show everyone up. There's that moment where you have Bolo, and now he looks like a beast. But then you look at Bruce Lee, and you're like, he is carved out of mahogany. You're like, fucking hell. You're not there to see his growth to get to that stage. You just take that as granted.
Yeah,
you're there to see what he can do.
I think the thing though, in the case of, you know, when I talk about growth just with his character, is more because the film takes a second to give you an extra layer with the whole revenge for his sister. I just felt like there might be a bit more to it, shall we say? There, you know, that he might, you know, because you know, just jumping forward and using Bond as an example, but you know, the films where they do try and do something with Bond, it usually is a revenge flick. You know, your Casino Royale, you know, the License to Kill, you know, the Her Majesty's Secret Service, and you know, whenever Bond stops being a superhuman and they give him a backstory or something to fight for other than Queen and Country, James, suddenly the character shifts a little bit, gets a little bit of extra texture to them.
License to Kill with Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, when Felix Leiter gets basically thrown in the shark, you know.
And they say to him, you're not allowed to go after the people, Bond. Okay, listen to us, Bond. Honestly, Bond, we're saying you're not allowed to. It's very naughty. You mustn't go after the bad guys, Bond. At all, Bond. Because we know you're going to anyway. Yeah. But, you know, we have to be shown to disapprove of this kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's just you know, that whole sort of over familiarity with the genre now, but it's just that was the only thing with his character where I was kind of like, you know what, even if he just got a tiniest bit of, you know, you get a sense of a tiniest bit of revenge for the whole thing getting sorted out, you know, that would have been cool. But you know, that's just me, I guess. The one thing
sorry,
no, go on.
I was going to say, he does actually show a slight change in his character in the last second of the film before the credits just suddenly go crash down. And that's when he walks in and he sees John Saxon sitting there, like, nursing every single broken bone in his body. Right? 'Cause, you know, Bolo's run over him like a tank or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just, you see him kind of smile and nod, and then the credits suddenly roll.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say about John Saxon though. Can I just make a point? And like I say, feel free if you want to jump in. But John Saxon, man, if there was ever a person who was slightly out of his time and could have easily been Harrison Ford 2.0 or 0.5, that's the man. He was. I watched that all the way through, and that whole bit when he does the tournament, and they're trying to fiddle the bet, and he takes an absolute slapping from that guy.
Yeah. And looking at Jim Fingers, he's like,
"Yeah,
are we ready to go? Have you got the odds?" Yeah.
He keeps looking over. Yeah. Like, nah. His character Roper's looking over at Williams, and he's got a big old bruise sticking out of his face. He's been smacked in the head, and it's like. And he keeps looking over, and he's got that kind of, oh, fuck, I've got to get up and get hit by this twat again. And it just really did have a feel of, like, you could have imagined Saxon doing that same gag in Raiders, in that bit when he's fighting underneath the fighting under the flying wing. When you see old Pat, his bomber, go and smack him, and you see him sort of hover on his heels and then just drop down and kind of have to sort of do that kind of getting back up again. And he had something. It was something. First time I think I've really seen it with John Saxon, where you kind of go, actually, do you know what? Bloody hell, he could have been such a much bigger star than he was, or whether or not because I wasn't really aware of him in the 70s as much, but.
Oh, I remember him from. There was one film I remember. Maybe we should watch it again just to see if it's any good. I think it's called Genesis 2.
Genesis 2, never even heard of it.
Where he plays a guy who he gets put into suspended animation. He's like an agent for the government, and like World War III breaks out, so they put him in suspended animation. And by the time he comes out of suspended animation, it's like he thinks he's the only one left alive, but then he comes out and he realizes the world has completely changed.
So the Demolition Man.
Yeah. And he realizes that we've evolved to the point of having 2 belly buttons or something like this. I remember. I'm not shitting you. It was like an extra nipple or something. We've mutated to that stage.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's called Genesis 2, I think it is. I'll have to look it up. But I do remember watching that and loving that film when I was little.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it. But I mean, was there anyone who stood out for any of you guys? I mean, obviously Bruce Lee, but I mean, for me, like I say, John Saxon was the sort of standout. Bloody hell, he could have been someone. He could have been a lot bigger than he was. I mean, anyone else feel that, or anyone else stand out for you? I mean.
I like John Saxon anyway. I think he's good for a laugh. John Saxon. I've seen him in quite a few things, so it's I mean, what he was in, was it Getting Up, sort of like, more closer this time. He was it Nightmare on Elm Street? He played the main character's dad.
Yeah, but again, he was kind of sidelined in that though a bit.
Yes, he was. He was.
What about you?
He was an actual proper martial artist as well.
He was an actual black belt.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Jim Kelly was it? He was a Olympic champion.
Was he?
Yeah, he was a world karate champion and had his own dojo in California.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Go on, Jim.
I mean, for me, I think, I agree completely. I think John Saxon should have been a massive star because I've seen a lot of films. I've seen a lot of shitty films, but he's one of those actors. The film might be terrible, but he's always great.
Yeah.
And when you see him in this role here, when he's sort of doing his own martial arts, you think, why weren't you a superstar? You know what I mean? Because he just had that proper old school Hollywood charisma.
Yeah. But
he was a black belt in karate as well.
Yeah. That's exactly it. I think it's because I think my most abiding memory of John Saxon was as the bad guy in Battle Beyond the Stars, where essentially he sits in a chair with a rubber white arm. But I just thought
Sonic Man as well. He was in that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he was Maskatron in that.
But he's
push him forward a decade. He could have been like the new Steven Seagal.
I would have. No, because the thing is, what he could do, which Steven Seagal can't do, is fucking act.
Exactly. But he would have worn a different outfit for every film.
Yeah.
You could have put him into their movies.
I'm not
saying that he would be Steven Seagal.
You could put him in a Steven Seagal suit and still have room for the entire cast of Pan's people. I mean, fucking hell. Just no. Steven Seagal's a knob. Right, in every conceivable way.
I quite liked Jim Kelly though in this.
Yes, Jim Kelly, also very good.
Yeah, and there's that bit where he's like, "I'd like to get off this island now," and then all of a sudden it's like, "Okay, level 2, fight."
Yeah,
he just explodes. It's like, "Okay, you've turned it into a real cartoon character, haven't you?" I think he says that to that hand as well, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he said, "Yeah, you've turned into a real comic book villain." You're like, okay. And then he puts out the stance. You're like, here we go again. This is going to be good.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Jim Kelly, the one thing with his character was, I know it's that's the sort of dawn of all that blaxploitation stuff, and I know we're looking at it with the 2020s current year argument sensibility, looking back at things, but man alive, it did remind me of Blazing Saddles with the whole thing of like, I'm going to pick you and you and you and you to all the girls, and then the lady looks at him and he goes, just remember, I would pick you all, but I've had a very tiring journey. It's like, wow, okay, so yeah. Any second now, you're expecting the soundtrack to go, who's the hit with all the who's the dick with all the hits with all the chicks?
He was in a good few films though. He was in for blaxploitation. Jim Kelly.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's
the typical script writing for that kind of character. It's of that race, and sort of like everybody. Sort of like John Saxon's character says, "Hey man," and it's like he doesn't say it to any other character, but he says, "Hey man" to Jim. And I notice this about that sort of films. It's like, what is this?
Yeah. I mean, I always it's weird. I know it's one of those you have to write it off as it's of its time kind of things, but I still feel slightly cringy watching those kind of films where it is like, hey, you ladies, you is all my bitches for tonight sort of thing. And then it's just like, next thing you know, every time Jim Kelly turns up, the music suddenly goes from just standard sort of like, Lalo Schifrin kind of going da 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 sort of thing to waka 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 bow chicky wow wow, and it's just like, oh really, fucking get over it. It was, it's like, oh please.
But on the other end of that scale, you got Bruce Lee, where he's like, oh yeah, there is one lady I like to speak to, and it's all about the mission.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I would like to speak to the lady who threw me this dart. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I mean,
I would like to speak to the lady who threw me this dart.
We're back to that point about, you said with Jim Kelly, when he's like, I'll have that one, and that one.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, certainly. And then they go to John Saxon and they just say to him, which one would you like?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, oh, I've chosen my one.
Yeah, exactly. Because John Saxon knows what's up. Like I say, he could have been a Harrison.
John Saxon's in for an early night.
John Saxon's packed all the blue pills.
I just put my Ovaltine on.
Exactly. He's got his Horlicks slippers.
Woolly hat and a pipe.
Don't crease my pajamas. I've just ironed them.
He's got his copy of the Times under his arm.
It's up to the toilet.
Sort yourself out. I'll just go for a shit.
He's gonna sit there with a crossword on the shitter for 2 hours.
Oh man!
All you can hear is 4 across.
He comes out reading the back of the Weetabix box. He's got nothing left. Did you know it had 11 spices in this thing?
So tell me, why did you choose me? Is it because you think I'm sexy? You go, no, because I think you can do the Times crossword.
Yeah.
You look like you could. So,
yeah.
What is 4 across?
6 words, 6 letters means sleep. Anyway,
look like an Antiques Roadshow fan. Yeah.
Anyway, can I just bring up another thing about the fights? Just something that it occurred to me while watching it was when it's 2 people who can actually fight. I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but if there's 2 people who can actually fight, so when we get to the final act and we get the sort of like everything kicks off, when 2 people who can actually fight are facing off against each other, it was all wide shots or reasonable close-ups, so you can see all the action moving. And, there was that. There was one bit I'll get to in a minute, but anyway, but whenever it was like someone who clearly wasn't all that in real life, fighting someone like Bruce Lee or John Saxon or Jim, basically Jim Kelly, what you got was you got the point of view from the person being punched up.
Mm.
So like the guy who plays Han, who was clearly in his mid-80s, trying to throw some serious high kicks at Bruce Lee. And it's like you could see the director clearly saw that it would only look good for one or two punches. And then the rest of the time it was like Sam Raimi cam. It was like this wobbling handy cam as the bloke sort of like throws his foot up in the air about 2 foot.
But
it's
was
like
it
a 3-year-old
actually...
child?
Was it his foot, though? I mean, from some of those shots, was it not some bloke knelt down on the floor with a Burton's dummy, sort of like leg on a stick, sort of like kicking it up to make it look like...
Yeah. Well,
don't let him do it, he'll break an hip.
Yeah. I mean, there was one moment where it was clearly a dummy, but it did make me laugh. Because I was watching this film. I was
just a bit...
Where he kicks Han in the head.
Yeah,
and the doll.
good.
He literally, it was clearly a doll, and they filmed it at full speed. So literally 1 minute, Bruce Lee's foot is on the ground. Next minute, this Han head that's in the foreground has vanished in a puff of dust. It was just
Tim
like
so hard he landed in the sequel. There's just woof.
He literally knocked Barry's change out of his pockets. I mean, it was like, wow.
The rotation of the Earth sped up ever so slightly after that kick, didn't it?
Yeah, even the person who made the dummy felt it. It was that hard. I just went, oh, fuck.
Same here. I said that as well. It's just you felt the force behind that kick. You're like, you poor bastard. Don't hit him, he's old.
You've broken him. He's on the floor.
You killed Granddad.
He was going to get up and give himself fucking supervillain speech, and all you heard was "fucking hell."
It kicked him so hard, even the fucking lights felt it. I mean, it's just wow. Oh dear.
That's the thing about this movie. When you have those fight scenes, you realise that was done for real. He was that fast.
Yeah.
No CGI, no bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He could kick someone's face off.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, but I think that. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, Jim, or not. But were they filming him slower, or were they undercranking the camera in some way to slow him down so he could be seen? Because that
no, he was literally that fast.
Yeah. But I was more because the thing is, when he kicks that hand doll up front, the hand mannequin, that happens literally. And I tried to watch it second time. I
broke the puppeteer's arm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, he literally was. It was
the fuck you done, my arm.
It's just a hand at 90 degrees on the end of his foot. No, it was literally like 3 frames. Whereas when you see the rest of the fights, you can actually see the arms move, and then I'm like that. They must. I got the sense, and that's what I was going to ask you. I got the sense they actually slowed the camera down, not slowed Bruce Lee down. They actually added more frames to the image just so they could see what the fuck was going on. Because the only other time he does that is when he's taking down Scarface. And he literally is just 1 minute he's standing still, next minute he's got his elbow into the guy's like fucking brainstem, And it's like, and it just happens in one frame, and you're like, Jesus H. Christ. I mean, it must have left a sonic boom behind it. It's just fucking moved that quick. I just wondered if you knew if they'd slowed the camera down to see the actual fight.
Not as far, but
no.
It'd be interesting to look into. But I know it's kind of, they did have problems sometimes catching his move because he was so bloody quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, has anyone seen the footage on YouTube of one of his only fights that is preserved there?
No.
No, he went into a fight. I don't know who it was against, but this guy he was going into a fight with thought, oh, yeah, this new upstart coming here, and he just rinsed him. And he is so quick, and it just makes him look a shambles. And then in the end, the guy who thought he was going to be kicking this new kid Bruce Lee's ass ended up going under being his apprentice.
Yeah.
But the speed of him on there is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. I
look when he was doing his thing with the nunchucks.
Oh my God, that
was crazy good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, that was one thing I did appreciate for this film, and I don't know if anyone else was really catching it, but every time you saw the guy with the nunchucks in that film, up until the point where Bruce Lee takes it off him, and he does it 3 times, but the guy going around with the nunchucks does something and fucks it up every time. There's like a scene where he's kind of, when Lee's kind of sneaking about, and as he's sneaking about, the guy with the nunchucks is just kind of waving it about, and he kind of clips the golden dragon. The golden lion. He kind of like sneaking about, and all of a sudden he goes dong, and he kind of puts it over his shoulder. And then there's another bit where he's kind of twirling about like a baton, and he catches his hand, and you see him kind of go, oh, fuck, sort of thing. And then there's another time you see him, and he's just holding it, and he's sort of spinning it at Bruce Lee till Bruce Lee takes it off him and does this kind of whole maneuver, and it's like. Actually, that's the most subtle joke I've ever seen in cinema. It literally was like played out over the entire film of like 3 times of blink and you miss it. This guy with the nunchucks being absolute shit.
He used to work in the gift shop on the island. They're like, no, can't have you in there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, the nunchuck scene was super impressive. Even more so because the last time I saw Enter the Dragon was the time when they cut it out after all that nunchuck issue because of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Oh God, do you remember that?
No,
you couldn't show nunchucks for a while.
Yeah. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Yeah, they couldn't even call them Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Sorry, Jim. Carry on.
That's it.
It was one of those bizarre things because it was decided by some Nimno that nunchucks were a weapon people could emulate, as opposed to knives, clubs, swords, a variety of garden implements. And any film wasn't allowed to have nunchuck sequence out; they were snipped out. In the same way, around the same time, if you even had the word chainsaw in your title, that had to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why classics such as Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers didn't get released in just natural title here.
You're using the word classic ironically there, presumably, Jim.
Just slightly.
Yeah, good. Just as long as we're all on the same page there. I mean, we'll kind of start to wrap this up, but I mean, anyone got any like big thoughts about this? Because I'm kind of leading the discussion a bit, but anyone got anything major to say about it, what they feel about it, or anything? Jim?
What I particularly liked about this film was kind of like something I enjoy now with a lot of films that were kind of made in my lifetime, is that you get all this sort of great incidental stuff, particularly in lower budget films that weren't on big sound stages, and they'll basically shot things guerrilla style. And you get these marvelous shots of old Hong Kong harbour as it was before it was modernized.
Yeah.
And that, I think, it's one of those things you get in old movies where people we're in Hong Kong. Well, we have to go to Hong Kong and just get the cameras out. It gives the film an authenticity that a lot of modern films are lacking because it's all faked.
Yeah.
And likewise with the fight scenes as well, it's kind of, all right, there's no bullet time. No one's bending their arms back and, punching someone's head off literally in a welter of CGI blood. But the fight scenes are so much more impressive because they were real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the way they were filmed was real as well, because that's a bugbear I've noticed. What doesn't sell effects these days and stunts these days is all too often you've got a completely unrealistic point of view.
Yes.
Of a camera that's floating around like some cherub on crack, and it's not a human perspective. Whereas this, you often see a lot of the fight scenes, like the John Saxon fight, it's shot as if the cameraman is sat next to, just over the other side of the square from Williams, and he's pointing the camera at Saxon fighting, then over to the shenanigans with the bet, and it just really puts you in that location. And there's a lot of that in this movie. I think it was just really some really nice cinematography. And what really impressed me the most is that end scene where they're shooting in a hall of mirrors. Now you think, oh yeah, they just paint it all out. No, not back then.
No.
You've got multiple mirrors on camera.
Yeah.
And you've got to make sure, the cameraman isn't going, hello, mum, and showing up in the background of the shots.
Yeah. Well,
most people wouldn't even contemplate filming a scene in a hall of mirrors because it is a logistical nightmare to have multiple reflections and not get all the crew and the kit in the background somewhere.
Yeah.
But they did it, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, it does. It is an amazingly well shot film, I have to say, and I tell you the color and the saturation of it and the way it's kind of shot, the way it's all framed, really it's strange, but it really feels, I say 70s, but I don't mean it in a negative way, but it feels like you could almost literally go straight into the 70s and you'd feel like you were there.
Yes, yeah.
It has a real tangibility to the whole thing, which is lovely. I mean, regardless of, how silly the plot gets in places, and when it goes into that psychedelic thing when Han's fighting Roper, and he's kind of lying there on all the drugged out ladies, and then it suddenly goes into sort of like, hey, guess what? We still remember the 60s, yo. It's kind of all those weird psychedelic things painted on the walls. But apart from that bit, the rest of it feels so real. I thought it was amazing. I thought it looked amazing. It's only that scene with the 20 blokes pretending to be drunkards behind a jail cell for reasons that don't make any sense whatsoever.
Now, let's talk about that, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, so Han there, his fucking army was fucking shit all use, really, wasn't it? A bunch of drunkards in a jail cell get let out. There's drunken fighting, and all of a sudden, they defeat a lot of them.
Well, let's be honest. If you were a soldier for Han, knowing that if you got beaten up, Bolo Young would kill you. If you didn't get beaten up, you were likely to die because everyone was attacking the place. I mean, you haven't got a lot of motivation to fight, have you? And let's be honest, by the end of the film, you can still see the guards all just sitting around, sort of with their heads in their hands, going, "Yeah, got to look for a new job."
She's going to be pissed at home.
Yeah. And
Scaramanga's hiring.
Yeah, there's a guy on the island across the way. He's got a golden gun and a third nipple, but I've heard he pays overtime. Actually, I was going to say one other thing. If anyone got anything else to add, just throw it in there.
Yeah.
But how the lady that John Saxon sort of fancies, the way they kind of dispose of her felt a bit weird. It's just like Saxon just sits down at the end of the film, looks across, and there she is dead. And it's like, oh, that's that then, is it?
Oh.
Oh well, never mind.
Yeah, sat there going, oh, do you know what? Yeah, okay, right. If I can get her on a boat, and Oh, she's dead. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Bollocks.
Yeah, and I still owe several £100,000 to a mobster that I forgot about at the beginning of the film.
Yeah. Did I win this? No.
No.
You sure?
Are you sure?
Someone has to collect it, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Lee doesn't want it. He doesn't. I'm last man standing. Hold on.
Can I just add a couple of things?
Sure. Go for it.
Bolo.
Yes.
His facial expressions were beautiful. He's got so many different faces on him that mean I'm giving you pain, and he's like, oh, okay. And he's got he's got like a Rolodex of facial expressions where it means I'm hurting you. He's like, okay, right, let's move to Z. Okay, that face, I will use that one today. And the way he just folds someone in half as well. I haven't seen a death like that for a long, long time. That is a pure video games kill. That is.
Yeah, straight out of Mortal Kombat. That was really, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's a couple of. I like the way that they do the hand thing as well, and when you have Roper going through the little museum and he sees like the bones, and you're like, oh yeah, that was that's a trophy from what happened earlier on. You're like, oh, okay, it's clever. And then you see like the block of knives that he uses towards the end. It's just sprayed silver. It looks a bit ropey, but I remember it being better than that. But
not as ropey as that bear claw that he puts on for about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord, yeah.
That looks like someone got a back scratcher and just went, oh, that looks mean enough from a distance. Put that on.
Well, I think that was kind of related to that big chicken foot that they had in there as well. He's like Wurzel Gummidge's hand, isn't it?
It's in the aforementioned Kentucky Fried Movie. They really play that up. He has like a sword, a flamethrower,
yeah,
a hairdryer, electric toothbrush.
Don't they
and something else I won't mention as an attachment for his hands.
I was going to say, don't they? That's now ringing a bell. Don't they take the piss out of that with Inner Space? With Vern, what's his name? Oh God, Vern, the guy who was in.
Yeah, it's Mr. Thingy, played by who's in Mad Max 2.
Yeah. I was going to say Vern Troyer, but that's the mini-me, isn't it? But Vern.
No, it's he also played Little Steam Bennett.
Yes, exactly. But he,
him.
Yeah, he's in Inner Space, which we must do. I love that film. But that's they do that whole thing with him detaching his hands and then finally sort of lady going, oh, I'll be back later, and you suddenly see him putting on something very long and black and it's in the foreground and out of focus going but
just going on to the Hall of Mirrors as well, just before then, when you have Lee and Han kind of facing off with each other, where they're doing like the jump across the room and fight in the middle of the room. There's a moment just before it gets a bit too silly where the film loses all of its music and it's just Bruce and him fighting. And it's all the sounds, it's all the slaps, it's all the cracks that are going on. And it's just epic. It sounds so good. And then it takes that weird left turn or right turn, as it was on the stage, where you go into that Hall of Mirrors. And it's, okay, we haven't seen this room. This is really, really weird. And it's really creepy when you're going past all of these mirrors. I know, Jim, you said about how they shot it, where they have like a clothes stand. Just generally planted there, just so you can't see the camera. But it's so subtle. It's not too obvious that we've got to hide the crew behind this. But it's got a real creepy vibe to it. It almost turns into a slasher where he keeps jumping out at him and slashing him until he realizes to smash all the mirrors, and then he'll defeat him.
I mean, Jim brought it up, that whole thing with the mirrors. But I was just thinking on Netflix's John Wick 3, and that has a scene in the Hall of Mirrors or a mirrored room, and they had to go through a whole thing of basically digitally painting it out frame by frame, all the camera crew. And you think, well, as Jim said, you don't have any CGI back in 1973. To do that really took some craft and skill to do. I mean, it's amazing when you think about it, because it didn't even occur to me while I was watching it. I was just thinking, wow, this is quite a cool showdown scene. And then all of a sudden it's just like, hang about. How the fuck did they film that?
They do that? Yeah, kind of working backwards on it.
Yeah.
But also, I think I worked backwards on something as well, where you was doing saying about all the practical fights. No wire work whatsoever, and that really draws me out of these sort of films. As soon as I see someone jumping 10 foot across from one pole to another pole, you're like, okay, I can't do that. But not a single stitch of it. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's only the second only sort of like kung fu movie that comes to mind. I mean, I may have to see a few more. We may see a few more as we go through the series again, but where you sit there and go, actually, that's genuinely impressive fighting. I think the only other time I've been like that was when we did The Raid, when we watched that.
Man, yeah.
Which was again one of those, you could see everyone involved really knew what they were doing, and you were sitting there just going, oh, fucking hell. Every single punch felt like it hurt, and you're just like, wow.
It'd be worth doing Ong back in the future then, in that case, because I think that was the one that really kicked off that style, that sort of martial arts style.
Well, I'm kind of interested in the Donnie Yen one, Ip Man.
Yes.
Yes.
Man, yes.
Yeah. Whether or not that's any good, because I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot about it. But
yeah.
But we may do that then, if that's okay. But anyway, last thoughts before we wrap this up. I mean, like I say, Jim, you got anything left, and then we'll move to Elton and Darren just for wrapping it all up.
Just to say this is a very welcome rewatch. I think I got much more out of this watching it now than I did even back in the day. The fights are still amazing, but now I appreciate just the sheer craft of cinema. And now I'm in a position to be able to spot kind of, okay, that movie stole that from here. That was stolen from here. And, this is one of those very, very important movies that it's not just changed cinema, but it's left a big, big impression on pop culture.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And what about you, Elton? You said you had something else to say about it?
No, I think I've said it all now. I think I really enjoyed this. I think I enjoyed it a lot more than what I was expecting to as well. I knew it was one of these movies that I needed to get round and solidly watch and give it a good going over. But this has given me the opportunity. I've seen it twice in the lead up to us talking about it because I enjoyed it so much. And I knew I'd miss little bits here, there and everywhere.
Cool. But
I didn't get bored in any of the watches I had. And I could watch this again right now. I think it's brilliant.
Right, brilliant. And what about you, Dal?
Yeah, still really enjoy it. As has been said, the fights in this, the actual choreography, because I do enjoy very well choreographed fights of whatever style they may be, with the right timing and stuff like this. And it's just this is the film that gave Bruce Lee that reputation. I think this is the one that seals the deal. I think a lot of people probably saw this and may have never seen any of his other movies. This is the big one.
Yeah.
So and it's the real deal. This one, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I started off the whole thing, my side of things, by saying, well, I was a bit about bits and pieces of it. I mean, overall, especially discussing it now and going back over it, I can see it's a bloody good film. I think when I have problems, I think it's problems from looking at it through the past, if you know what I mean. So I love the cinematography. And the more that I think about that mirror scene now, the more I'm thinking, bloody hell. The fighting, obviously, the acting. like I say, I've got a new appreciation for John Saxon, and I really think the poor bloke was completely underserved by some poor films. But overall, I think it's a really good film. I find that there's just bits of it where, when my brain's not quite in that I'm watching a kung fu movie mode, I'm watching a movie mode instead. Because I think sometimes you have to be in the right frame of mind for these sort of things. That sort of porno aesthetic of suddenly just someone turns up and goes, "Hi, I've got your bag of spuds," and everyone goes, "Right, we're having a fight," and it's just like, what? What? Yeah. I've come to fix your fridge. Take that. It's just like, I find myself having to sort of adjust. So, like I say, I'm looking for texture and context from a fight movie. It's like, really, should I? I should just be like, yeah, here's the revenge, here's the hero. Let's have some fights and some really good choreography. Thanks very much and good night. But overall, I thought it was. I mean, it is, as you say, Jim. It is deeply influential. And the more you watch it, the more you just think, "Fucking hell!" There are so many films that owe a massive debt to this. So yeah, overall, I thought it was really good. I just had a few flaws, but like I say, I think it's just looking back at old films with a modern eye and kind of going, well, these days they do it slightly differently, I guess. But there you go. I mean, especially that whole flashback scene. Just film it in the order that they showed the flashbacks and don't have it as a flashback. But hey, this is minor thing. Anyway, that was our thoughts. What did everyone else think? I mean, if you guys have got any thoughts about Enter the Dragon, or about what we've said, anything we brought up, then please do send us some feedback in. Send it to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com. And, as long as it's short enough, we might have to edit a few down just to get a couple in. We might put some at the beginning of the cast next week. But anyway, that was Enter the Dragon. Let's move on and talk about next week's film. Now, next week's film is available on Amazon Prime, and well, I'll be honest with you. This is a film that I haven't seen. This is a film that I picked because I wanted to see it, and it's got a bit of history in Black Dog history. And if you haven't seen the original, then you may not necessarily appreciate as much of this film as we go ahead. But next week's film will be The Disaster Artist. Now, The Disaster Artist is a biopic of one Mr. Tommy Wiseau, a.k.a. the bloke who looks like a melted wax candle, a.k.a. the bloke who we had a photo competition. We literally had a photo competition on the old series of Black Dog for people to make Tommy Wiseau's out of things like melted wax, potatoes. I think someone did Tommy Wiseau out of a melted Mars bar.
Somebody turned a Halloween mask inside out as well.
That's right. I think that was Chris Lancaster, wasn't it? And put some glasses on it, and to win a Tommy Wiseau signed Blu-ray that we had. So yes, this film is the making of the masterpiece of awful cinema called The Room. So, if you haven't seen The Room, perhaps do yourself a favour and watch that. Or better yet, watch this, and we'll see how it goes. Has anyone else seen The Disaster Artist yet?
No.
Yes.
You have, Jim. Ah.
Mm-hmm.
And are you looking forward to seeing it again?
Definitely. I thought it was a very entertaining movie indeed, and a fascinating story.
Okay. Okay. I know you haven't seen it, Elton, because you haven't even seen the original film, The Room.
I haven't even seen The Room. No.
Wow. I almost feel like we should do a special episode just initiating you into The Room.
I'm all right.
No. I think it has to be done. I think it's trial by fire. Well, in fact, we might even.
If I'm watching this, do I have to watch The Room before it, or should I just go in and review this movie as it is.
I think just review this movie as
wouldn't
is.
it?
Yeah, I think review the movie as is. And then maybe if you're at a loose end one day, and we might do it as a bonus episode of just getting you to watch the film, watch The Room.
Cool.
If you feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if everyone on the Black Dog Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, if they all suddenly clamour for it to have the Room watch along.
Oh jeez.
I think it could be a winner. Could be a winner. But we'll see.
Stop talking. Stop saying words.
No. Anyway, so that's that. So yes, next week, ladies and gentlemen, our shut-in cinema for next week will be The Disaster Artist, Dave Franco and James Franco, and it's a film. It's on Amazon, and the film it's made of is even more of a film. Do check out The Room if you feel particularly interested in bad cinema. So that's that. Anyway, right. So let's move on. Let's wrap this up. Jim, do you want to tell everyone about your wonderful wares and where anyone else can find you?
Well, you can find everything I do at hypnagoria.com. I'm currently just in the middle of a 2-part retrospective on the life and work of the late Stuart Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Part 1 is out, Part 2 out this weekend. I also released a bonus Easter special episode, which is a commentary for Reanimator, my commentary club show. And my new reading show from the Great Library of Dreams is now on Spotify, Breaker, and Google Podcasts and Pocket Casts, everywhere apart from a certain fruit-based service which is dragging its fucking heels.
Lovely. And it all can be found on your page anyway, hypnagoria.com, can't it?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. And what about you, Elton? Got anything to plug?
Yeah, you can catch all the stuff I do over at rogue2media.com. We have Into the Expanse, the Grand Prix podcast, and Shonky Lab. They've all had episodes out recently, so go over there and check it out.
Indeed. And that's it. I've got nothing to plug other than the fact that I'm going to be doing a challenge on Instagram, which I'm going to try and set up once I can actually work out how to do it, which is going to be called Paint a Frame. Where basically I just get people to randomly select 30 films and then 30 time codes, and I will paint the frame that appears on those time codes. So that's something to get me back in and drawing. See what's going to happen. But I'm trying to work out how to randomize the films and whatnot, and then how to get people to vote on time codes and just throw in numbers or throw random numbers out. But there you go. So look out for that. I'll keep everyone informed on the Facebook group and on Instagram as soon as I know what the fuck I'm doing with that. So there you go. Right, so thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Alton.
Problem.
Okay. And like I say, if you got any feedback on Enter the Dragon, do send it in, or anything you want to discuss that we've discussed on this podcast this week, send it in, and we'll try and fit a little bit in at the beginning. Dot it in and out. If your feedback's too long, or if your feedback is it doesn't get featured this week, it might get featured the week after. We're just going to try and sprinkle it in rather than make a big old section of the thing. That's that. So we shall see you all next week. Until then, take care, stay safe, stay locked in. Don't go outside, because you know what? Outside is dangerous and bad. And until then, take care. See you soon. Tatty bye.
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 Ta-da.
Oh, bollocks to it.